Hey, ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about Spy Family. Now, I was laughing so much this episode, but it also made me think a bit of a very old cartoon, if you ever watched it or heard about it, Bobby's World. Definitely felt like this was how Anya sees the world, and it truly is Anya's world. Going back to the main mission of getting close to Damian's father, all of the shenanigans in school are back, and also the later part of the episode putting a bit more emphasis on Sylvia and Lloyd. So, and also the memeable faces were really good in this episode, and I really gotta give credit to Damian. He's really starting to become more and more interesting with each episode. He gets a bit of focus on. So let's get into it and talk about it now. Finally going back to school, we see Anya and Becky catching up a bit, talking about Becky's new interest she has found in dramas, and Anya still focusing on cartoons, with Becky teasing her a bit she's not mature enough. Now this is where Becky got some interesting notions, and we'll get to that. Now Anya also starts focusing on the mission again. After she got her doggo Bond, she's very proud of him, but also wants to use the dog to get close to Damian to fulfill the mission that Lloyd has. Also keep the family together, because she's probably doing this just to keep Lloyd to her. I really hope, I keep saying this, at some point, hopefully they're gonna become an actual family. Now, she wants to use this secret weapon she has, and the smugness, the faces were so good in this episode, with a family photo, a new one, but with Bond this time. And the way she was like, oh, I dropped this right here down the photo, but she instantly got ignored them and just walked past her with his friends. Now, because of that photo, you have Becky seeing the photo, and like I said, she got some new interests, and she's into older guys right now. I'm sure everybody has had that phase, be it you're a guy or a girl, you were at some point had a crush on various sort of types of people, and this is where Becky comes in. She, to say the least, she liked Lloyd would be an understatement. She left, she ran off with the photo. This is mine now, I keep it. Anya lost her secret weapon. Now, I'm glad also, after that scene, we finally have Mr. Elegance back into the show, Henderson being a substitute teacher for somebody. They had to make in class a 3D object with animals being the theme and them being grouped up, and you knew it was going to happen. Damon and Anya get grouped up, and he actually got frustrated. God damn it. he couldn't take it over there. Now I really like Henderson. I like his inner monologues, the way he presents himself, all of that. Elegant started taking notes of what everybody was doing, grading them on various things. And this is where Becky, also being Becky, I hope at some point we're gonna get more Becky and Anya time, because I really like how Becky interacts with Anya, and also Becky herself. She made a Lloyd project item for her presentation, and also even added a combat suit for him, which could pose some interesting foreshadowing for the future. Maybe Lloyd is even gonna get that actual combat suit, because her company, her family company, actually makes those suits. And this was probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode, when Henderson comes in and says, yeah, but the theme is animals, you have to start over, this is not what I asked for. And Becky just, yeah, she definitely won the arguments, the seriousness she had there. In the end, humans are animals also, and yeah, she has a point. Even Henderson, okay, you won the argument, and leaves off. But I gotta give her credit, even though she won that, she could have just like, hey, I don't care anymore. She understood, hey, I did this, I'm gonna start over again and do something properly, but that was a really fun exchange between them. And now it's Anya time, and definitely Anya's world made this blob. I don't know what to call it. Apparently that would should have been the dog of Bond, and being very smug there over, hey, this is, his name is Bond. Handing it over to Damien, who had so much disinterest on his face. I was like, no, what's that garbage? But this is where it gets a bit serious. Again, I loved all of the faces. I like how hard Anya is trying. But I feel like Damien was a bit the star of this episode, with all of the shenanigans, the funny things that Anya was doing, which I love, don't get me wrong. Damien, you see how much pressure he has on himself also, and what a complex he has because of his father. He was thinking of making a griffin, the crest of his family, wanting to impress his father, to get his father to actually acknowledge him throughout the episode, and we've seen it in others episodes also. And Anya kind of takes the reins, imagining she was helping him to complete the mission. And yeah, the face she made, I feel like Mercy coming down from Overwatch, the Holy Mary face. Insert holy music, I'm gonna help you, and the shine emanating from her. And we know Damon has a crush, and he kinda can't really handle Anya, especially when he's alone and doesn't have the two stooges around him. Even Becky getting the wrong idea that Anya has a crush on Damian. Of course, she's probably gonna get involved after all of this. And Henderson taking note that they're cooperating together, being impressed over there. Of course, he doesn't have the full picture and always has these interpretations. This is why I like Henderson. So Anya starts helping in her own way. She has to make the legs of the griffin, and made some legs, but jet engine legs. Because why not? It should fly and have jet engines. Damien was getting more and more frustrated, even with the feathers. That one didn't work out, and kind of has a tantrum, going a bit overboard. And this is where Henderson steps in. Not elegant, and I feel like everybody felt that one, and even touched a bit with Damien. Now he has so much pressure on him, and some of it also self-imposed, and this is mainly responsible because of his father and how he has been treating him. Now it's not to excuse what Damien is doing, your trauma and everything like that doesn't excuse the poor behavior of others, but you can understand why he is the way he is, and why he is acting the way he is acting. And this is why I like flawed characters a lot more than just your perfect character. And I feel like the advice that Henderson giving there, telling him not to rush just with the project, but also kind of meant a bit more not to rush just in general there, especially with everything he's going through. Now I don't know if Henderson actually knows his situation. Maybe he has some suspicions of things like that, or me just thinking way too much into it, but that calmed him down a bit. Now I really don't like seeing Anya sad like this when she has to apologize, and even how much she puts herself down, saying sorry for being useless, and even gives her blob made into a griffin this time as an apology, even though he still treats it as a garbage. And this is where they made a very interesting point with the series, which kind of applies to a lot of things, especially with art. We have the school stuff, seeing everything the kids have done. They finally stop at what Damien did there, and taken aback a bit. Now, after that, we see Henderson comes in and tells Damien that won the first prize. Looked more like a garbage can, but also depends on the perspective how you look. Art can always be interpreted and depends on the person that looks at the art, and the guy that looked at it kind of saw his own insecurities, his own worries and everything into it, saying that Griffin looked so regal, but also the current state of the country with the war, and still pushing through it, the perseverance, the tenacity of their own country, their pride. They're still pushing through despite of everything that is happening, and seeing the corpse of the innocent baby broke his heart. And yeah, that could be very well said about something touching your soul and you interpreting with your own internal things, and this is why they won. And I really liked this scene quite a bit. I had a feeling they were gonna win, but I wasn't expecting it to be this close to home, so to say. Now Damon, of course, he couldn't believe it, still being in denial. Didn't give Anya any credit, of course. He's never gonna admit that, at least not at the moment. And Anya broke, failed again. She collapses down. And after that, we have a bit more of a serious scene, putting more emphasis on Damian calling home, checking in with everything that has happened in school, maybe trying to get a hold of his father. But I feel like Jeeves, probably the butler or somebody who else was on the other line, acted more like what a father should do with a kid than his actual father. Asking him, showing interest in him, even lying to him about his father, being worried about him, even though Damien knew about that, but it still mattered to him, even though they both knew it was a lie. They went along with it, and I feel like that just shows his current situation quite a lot, and even pushing him more to his dream to become an imperial scholar, just to get acknowledged by his father. And after that scene, I hope we're gonna get to see more of Damon and his family. I'm sure at some point Anya or Lloyd are gonna succeed in the mission and get to Desmond's home. And also, as much I would love to see that scene and how they managed to do that, I'm curious what happens after with the family. Something to think over for the future of the series. We have Henderson, a manly tier of elegance, being proud at the top prize. But this is where the episode kind of ends a bit with the school life, Anya, Desmond, and things like that. And we see this shift with a bit of the show, a different perspective. We get reintroduced in a way with Sylvia, and I really like the way they did those one-shots presentations of her, with age being redacted and her own name or the legend she has sort of around her work, with being known as the Full Metal Lady, with how good she is, imposing and always doing this job and being admired by everybody she works with. Like I said multiple times, I really like Sylvia, and she's very, very hot. And yeah, I hope we're gonna see more of Sylvia, and even more, because I think last episode or the episode before that, when she had the interrogation scene and her speech about war, really put a lot of things into perspective, even more considering the current situation in the real world, but also her past with what she has lost, and hopefully ties in a bit with Lloyd. Maybe at some point we're gonna find out more about his past, but we also see bit of her daily life with what she has to go through with her work being surveilled by the secret police, how she has to meet with Lloyd, using the routine she has to her advantage to make the ones that are following her drop their guard, basically meeting with Lloyd, the reports talking about the mission and other things over there, and Lloyd seeing a tag on her new coat, and I can't tell her. No, I can't tell the Full Metal Lady there's a tag on her coat. But yeah, that was a nice scene between them there. Now, what I liked, they also showed Lloyd's perspective, his POV, with how much he's helping, even with Sylvia during their meetings, telling her she's being followed, changing direction, things like that, how they're gonna get to their meeting. And yeah, I gotta give them credit. They're doing a really good job showing also the spycraft of the series. Now, when he has to give the report how his Operation Strix going, to say that Sylvia was confused would be an understatement, saying that my daughter can jump 2 levels on the box now and the jump rope 5 times. What does that even mean? But yeah, I love their interactions also, and hopefully we're gonna see more of Sylvia. And this was pretty much the episode. I liked it quite a lot. It felt a bit more relaxed of an episode, kind of going back to the roots of the series. And hopefully we're gonna get more of this, because I love Anya's world. And don't get me wrong, I also want the main plot to advance quite a lot, and also have my main questions that I keep repeating quite a bit. But it's fun having episodes like this, and it needs more Yor. Honestly, we haven't had enough Yor. Just a bit at the end, there's a scene there we see a bit more of a flashback with Yor feeding Yuri and his Spartan training to get that iron stomach he has now, and another slap when she doesn't take compliments. Well, but as always, I'm curious what you guys thought about the episode. What was your favorite scene? I'm also really curious, what are your thoughts on Damien, the more we find out about him, especially after the first impression we had of him in part 1. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about the episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Spy Family. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.